So, was it where? Over the bridge, yes. Okay.
Let him take notice and shine upon thee, for thou hast done his work this day.
Mm-hmm.
It is begun.
What do we have? Yeah, whatever, I think we can proceed at this point. Let's go. Yep, venture forth. Indeed. We spent enough time on Lothering.
Bad dreams.
It seems so real.
Well, it is real, sort of. You see, part of being a Grey Warden is being able to hear the Darkspawn. That's what your dream was, hearing them. The Archdemon, it talks to the Horde, and we feel it just as they do. That's why we know this is really a Blight.
The Archdemon? Is that the dragon?
I don't know if it's really a dragon, but it sure looks like one. But yes, that's the Archdemon. It takes a bit, but eventually you can block the dreams out. Some of the older Grey Wardens say they can understand the Archdemon a bit, but I sure can't. Anyhow, when I heard you thrashing around, I thought I should tell you. It was scary at first for me too.
Any other surprises I should know about?
Other than dying young and the whole defeat the Blight alone thing, no. I'm all tapped out for surprises. Anyhow, you're up now, right? Let's pull up camp and get a move on.
Yeah, and that's my party camp, where you can actually use those gifts I was picking up and just buying around from different merchants as well. Sandal... Oh, those dwarves, right? Who can enchant stuff. I think maybe they can craft something as well.
Ah, it's good to see you, my timely rescuer. Bodon Fennick, at your service once again. I saw your camp and thought to myself, what safer place to rest for the evening than in the camp of a Grey Warden? I'm perfectly willing to offer you a fine discount for the inconvenience of our presence. How does that sound? Good? Yes?
You're free to stay.
Wonderful. Thank the kind lady, won't you, boy?
Thank you, kind lady.
We won't be a bother to you and your companions, I assure you. If you should need enchantments, simply talk to my boy. Otherwise, come speak with me.
Okay, let's talk.
Hello.
The boy's a bit simple, but he's rather good with enchantments. One of those tranquil fellas actually called him a... what was it now? A savant. I had no idea such a thing existed.
What enchantments does he do?
He can fold lyrium into almost any weapon or piece of armor, though naturally some of the more extravagant materials will take more lyrium than others. It's a process that some of the master smiths back in Orzammar will perform, but my boy here is just as adept at it. Isn't that right, boy?
Enchantment!
And there you have it.
Okay... yeah, let me see.
Enchantment!
How does it work? So you get to use these slots, these little squares in the item description, right? So the edge can be enchanted 2 different enchantments, spells, and Oath Keeper is just 1. That's longsword, that's dagger. That's nice, but they're both kinda too high for me. I wonder, can I replace enchantments with different things? What do you think? Later, like if I want to upgrade it. Yeah, I assume. Let's take this. And what do I have already? Armor penetration and healing effects boost. Slow, flame, or lightning? Lightning is stronger. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Okay, quest completed. Now let's see. Inventory and a sword. Yep, got used. And let me see.
Enchantment?
Again.
Enchantment!
Yes, it appears that I can replace it, although it will probably destroy this rune, right? Fine. Now, can I manage, yes, inventories? Warden's longsword, that's tier 2, and it's pretty simple, so let me replace it. We will be keeping him. So it makes sense to actually put out something better, right? Yeah, higher damage in my sword that I've put for him. Critical chance and armor penetration and well, everything else. That's nice. This is available for her. The Chant of Light. What about Liliana? Not Liliana. I'm actually kinda surprised. Okay, let me see. So I will save. How about new save? Avari 4. Yeah, I know. Party approval, runes and stuff. I think we're fine for the most part. We could talk to someone. Right.
You're a hard woman to find. Where are my manners? The name is Leve Dryden. Did Duncan ever mention me? Levy of the coins? Levy the trader?
I'm a warrior and I never heard of you.
Really? He never told you of old Levy? We've known each other for years. But here I am carrying on while you have a blight to stop. Don't want to waste your time. But you see, Duncan promised that together we'd look into something important for the Wardens. And for me. But poor Duncan's... well, no more. A tragedy it is, at that. But I know he would want his work carried on. His pledge fulfilled.
So what promise did Duncan make to you? And actually, how did you know Duncan?
It's a bit of a tale, that is. But I'm the one who brought the Grey Wardens back to Ferelden. Well, I was one of the ones. There were a lot of us. Maker's breath, I'm a bit nervous. Honoured to be here, really.
Go ahead and tell your tale.
After King Marek freed us from the Orlesians, the Grey Wardens begged the King's permission to come into Ferelden, some sort of internal business. Me and a mess of other Warden sympathisers spoke on behalf of your order. Tan Loghain was very much against letting Orlesian Wardens in the kingdom. But Marek, Andraste, bless him, was a fair-minded monarch and he let them in.
Go on.
So that's why I was the Wardens and their leader, Genevieve, presented herself to the King. The first Wardens in Ferelden in over a century. Proudest day of my life, that was. Duncan was a bit of a scamp back then. We were of an age and struck up a friendship. The King himself went with the Wardens on their mysterious business. When he returned, he rescinded King Ardland's decree, and the Wardens came back to Ferelden for good.
Duncan was an easy man to like.
That he was.
So, what promise did Duncan make to you?
As you know, my family's name is mud around noble circles. My great-great-grandmother, Sophia Dryden, was the last Warden commander of Ferelden back when the Wardens were known as freeloaders. So King Arlen banished the Wardens, and he took House Dryden's land and titles.
What happened next?
Hard to say. After King Arlen died, there was a civil war, loads worse than this one, and our family was on the run, hunted by enemies, with nary a friend in the world. But Drydens are tough. We rebuilt, became merchants, and we never lost our pride.
I'm surprised you kept your name.
Our family's only crime was guarding the kingdom against the Blight. We're not ashamed of that.
So what favor did you ask of Duncan?
I asked for the truth. My family reveres Sophia Dryden. We know she died at the old Grey Warden base, Soldier's Peak. We want evidence to clear her name. It won't restore our land or our titles, but it'll restore our honor.
Well, I've never even heard of Soldier's Peak.
Well, no one's been to Soldier's Peak since Arlen's days. At least none that's come back. I spent years mapping the maze of tunnels to the peak, and I found the way a few years back. So I went to Duncan, I did, and I said that he could reclaim the old base and my family could have its honor.
Why didn't Duncan help you?
Darkspawn surfaced in southern Ferelden, and Duncan got plenty busy recruiting new wardens and meeting with good King Caelan. Duncan said he would help after the Battle of Ostergar, said there might be useful things at the peak, but he never had the chance.
Oh yeah, he died. Because we got betrayed by one certain person we'll be eventually going for, but that will be much later. How will reclaiming the peak help the Wardens?
Soldier's Peak is strategic and symbolic importance. Duncan said that it would be worth it right there. He also hoped to recover lost Warden history and perhaps a few old relics. No one knows what's up there now.
Oh yeah, okay.
1,000 blessings upon you, Warden. I'll mark down the location on your map. When you arrive, we'll pick our way through the tunnels together.
Sure thing. That will probably not happen in this live stream, though. I'm not even sure if I'm supposed to go for this kind of content right away when I'm like just level... what exactly? Where do I look for it? 7. Not particularly high. Just basically at the beginning of the game. So, yes, let me see, that puppet. Maybe, just maybe, Morrigan will appreciate it. Ha! Yeah, that's interesting, actually.
I am grateful. 'Tis thoughtful indeed.
Yep. That was the right call. Yes, Morrigan can amuse herself by inflicting indignities on the Alistair doll. Yeah, hard to read this small font. So that was nice. That I'm not that sure. But yeah, inspired moderate magic, that's nice. And maybe we can talk to her actually, now that her status approval is way higher.
I await your command.
So, life in the wilds must have been very lonely.
At times, perhaps. A world full of people and buildings and things was all very foreign to me. If I wished companionship, I ran with the wolves and flew with the birds. If I spoke, 'twas to the trees.
Huh. That sounds wonderful.
For a time, but one can only remain a child for so long. I recall the first time I crept beyond the edge of the wilds. I did so in animal form, remaining in the shadows and watching these strange townsfolk from afar. I happened upon a noblewoman by her carriage, adorned in sparkling garments the likes of which I had never before seen. I was dazzled. This, to me, seemed what true wealth and beauty must be. I snuck up behind her and stole a hand mirror from the carriage. 'Twas encrusted in gold and crystalline gemstones, and I hugged it to my chest with delight as I sped back to the wilds.
What happened then?
Flemeth was furious with me. I was a child and had not yet come into my full power, and I had risked discovery for the sake of a pretty bauble. To teach me a lesson, Flemeth took the mirror and smashed it upon the ground. I was heartbroken.
But you were just a child.
And a foolish one. Flemeth was right to break me of my fascination. Beauty and love are fleeting and have no meaning. Survival has meaning. Power has meaning. Without those lessons, I would not be here today, as difficult as they might have been.
They made you stronger, didn't they?
They did indeed. To return to your original question, perhaps my time in the wilds was indeed lonely, but such was how it had to be. I find myself at times wondering what might have become of the girl with the beautiful golden mirror, but such fantasies have no place amidst reality.
Okay, that's +9. That wasn't terrible, actually. Maybe it could have been worse, and better, but yeah, I think that's okay. And that's +84. Yeah, that will do for a while. Now, do we have any good relationships with anything else? Stan. Now that I gave him that thing, yeah. No one else, right? Yeah, let's go talk to Stan.
You are not quite as callow as I thought. That is unexpected.
Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome.
I wanted to discuss something you mentioned.
Speak then.
Oh, okay.
Then I suggest we move on.
That's not an option.
I am hardly surprised.
Why did you come to Ferelden?
I was sent to be the eyes of the Antom. The Arishok asked what is the Blight. By his curiosity, I am now here.
Don't you have to report back then?
Yes.
So what are you still doing here then?
I cannot go home.
Why not?
It doesn't matter now. Can we move on? We keep the Darkspawn waiting.
Maybe number 2?
Does it matter? Very well. I caged myself. A weak mind is a deadly foe, as you are no doubt aware.
What do you mean by a weak mind?
That is complicated. I came to your lands with 7 of the Beresad, my brothers, to seek answers about the Blight. We made our way across the Ferelden countryside without incident, seeing nothing of the threat we were sent to observe. Until the night we camped by Lake Calenhad. They came from everywhere. The earth beneath our feet, the air above us. Our own shadows harbored the Darkspawn. I saw the last of the creatures cut down, too late. I fell.
What happened to the other Kunari?
I am told no others survived. I don't know how long I lay on the battlefield among the dead, nor do I know how the farmers found me. I only know that when I woke I was no longer among my brothers, and my sword was gone from my hand.
You probably dropped it on the battlefield.
Perhaps. I searched for it, and when that failed I asked my rescuers what had become of it.
And then?
I killed them. With my bare hands. I did. I knew they didn't have the blade. They had no reason to lie to me. I panicked. Unthinking, I struck them down.
You panicked over a lost blade?
That sword was made for my hand alone. I have carried it from the day I was set into the Beresad. I was to die wielding it for my people. Even if I could cross Ferelden and Tevinter unarmed and alone to bring my report to the Arishok, I would be slain on sight by the Antom. They would know me as soulless, a deserter. No soldier would cast aside his blade while he drew breath.
Accident happened, no. Not this kind of accidents. Couldn't you search for it?
If I knew where to look, it would be in my hand now.
Well, where did you fight the Darkspawn?
Near Lake Calenhad.
I think we could find it, or at least try to find it.
Perhaps those words are empty, but thank you all the same.
Okay, quest updated. Lake Calenhad, right? Now, maybe other options?
I await your command. So, Full of questions, are you?
So yeah, plenty of questions actually, but how did you become a shape changer?
I was not born such. 'Tis a skill of Flemeth's, taught over many years in the wilds. The chastened have tales of we witches, saying that we assume the forms of creatures to watch them from hiding. When a child is alone and separate from his tribe, that is when we strike, dragging the young boy kicking and screaming to our lair to be devoured. A most amusing legend.
But that's just a legend, right?
So I assume. My mother has walked the wilds far longer than I. Who am I to suggest what things she has done and not done in her past? Why do you ask? Is there something specific you wish to know?
Do you spend a lot of time as an animal?
There were nights when the wilds called to me, 'tis true. You look upon the world around you and you think you know it well. I have smelled it as a wolf, listened as a cat, prowled shadows that you never dreamed existed. But my life is as a human. I am under no illusions to the contrary.
And what do other animals think of you when you're changed?
They do not shy away from me. To their senses, I believe I seem like any other of their species. As to what they think, I truly cannot say. Just as I am still human, no matter my form, they are still animals. Thus they cannot speak, even were I to ask.
Can you change into other human forms as well?
The form of an animal is different from my own. One may study the creature, learn to move as it does, think as it does. In time, this allows one to become as it is. I gain nothing by studying another human. I already am the same as they are. I learn nothing. So the answer is no, my human form is the only one I possess.
Can anyone become a shape changer?
Anyone with sufficient will, but the act of transformation is a magical one. 'Tis a spell and thus requires a mage's talents. If you had a notion to learn such a skill for yourself, sadly, you must remain disappointed.
Never heard of magic like that before.
No? 'Tis not unheard of in the remote corners of the world. There are traditions of magic outside of the circle of magi, despite what those mages would have you believe. Some of these traditions are old, indeed, passed down as carefully guarded lore from one generation to the next. The zealots of the chantry would uproot all such practitioners if they could, but as luck have it, some still exist. My mother is such a one.
That's good. Such traditions need to be preserved.
I am surprised you think so. Still, 'tis a pleasant thing to hear.
That's all.
Indeed. Have you an opinion on my abilities, then? Am I an unnatural abomination to be put to the torch?
I think your abilities are quite useful. They sound so.
A most practical opinion. Far more so than any man I have spoken to. But enough of such talk. Let us proceed, lest the dust gather on us.
That's nice. Skill acquired. Which skill? Again, it's not highlighted, so I don't really know. That's a plot, right? Yes, it is. Okay, so what do we have here? Maybe Stan. Mm-hmm. Massive bonus to magic and moderate bonus to strength. That's nice. So we're not wasting our time actually. We are doing quite well.
Why are we stopping?
Okay, so we are working together. I think I should get to know you.
There are Darkspawn to be fought. Is this delay needful?
Are you alright?
You are concerned. No need. I am fit enough to fight.
You said you were in an army.
I am.
What made you decide to become a soldier?
Decide. I am a Sten of the Beresad. I did not choose to be who I am any more than you did.
Have you ever fought in a war?
The Antam are the eyes, hands, and mouth of the Kunari. We are how my people know the world. No. People are not simple. They cannot be summarized for easy reference in the manner of the elves are a lithe, pointy-eared people who excel at poverty. As you wish.
Okay, but that was at least +2, so what else? I think we can actually go, more or less. I don't think it makes sense to speak to anyone else, since I don't have their relationship meter high enough. So, yeah. Let's go. Who do we want?
Indeed.
Yes.
And, yeah, maybe that. So we have a few locations now. Let's see. Denarim, Soldier's Peak. Redcliffe, Soldier Pass. We could actually try to go for this one, but I'm not exactly sure if it's a good idea. I guess we could try, right? Yeah, I guess I should have started this part of content not that early, to have another skill in persuasion. Yeah, I guess let's go to Redcliffe and play there for an hour.